ability to share. Yeah, are we live? We are live. Welcome everyone to the September, I'm ahead of myself, September Investor Meetup. And I love the fact that we had about 12 people in August, and look at how much we've grown. So our goal is to outgrow the space, and we're doing a good job. So thank you to everybody that came last month and brought their friends. So let's just see who came the farthest. Last time I think Liberty won that one, but California. I love it. I love it. So my name is Margot Drake. I am a realtor. I'm the CEO of RVNU, and my husband, Steve Drake, is working our tech back there. He is also a licensed realtor. We're here at Keller Williams Grand Rapids North, and we are real estate investors. And today's event is called Becoming an Investor, and the reason why is because Steve and I trained for and crossed the finish line of 3 Ironman races. Do you guys know the distance of an Ironman? 146.2 miles. And it's a swim, bike, run, and yes, all in the same day, and yes, back to back. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because the book that got us across those 3 finish lines was called Becoming an Ironman. And it was a collection of stories that everyone from elite athletes to regular people like Steve and I. And it was, every chapter was a story of that person's first time training for, crossing the finish line of an Ironman. And I get goosebumps when I talk about this, because it wasn't the training guide that Steve gave me that got us over the finish line of those races. It was the stories, because stories stick, and those stories were emotional, and emotion causes you to take action. So during the race, I just thought about all the stories, especially when our babysitter contacted us the week before the race and told us she wanted to be paid 24 hours a day. And I thought about all of the challenges that the other people had, and the fact that they still got to the start line and they still got to the finish line of that race. Even people with disabilities and bigger challenges than we had. So I wanted to create a panel of my friends who have shared their stories with me over the years of becoming an InvestHER and their stories of their first real estate investment. And because I want all those stories to stick with you, and so you can take action maybe on your first investment, or maybe you're looking to up-level your game because they've all been doing it for years and they have grown since their first investment. So does that sound good?
Yeah.
And my goal with this group is that we change the demographic of the real estate investor in Grand Rapids. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I say let's do it, girls.
Grand Rapids is owned by mostly men, and we love our men, but we need more women at the table. And right now, women own a small portion of Grand Rapids, and it's time to change that. And the only way to change that is by showing up consistently, tracking your net worth. Who did their homework from last month? Yes, I love it. Good, okay.
I did like half.
Good, just start. You got in there and you did one, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
Actually.
Good, see, you just need to get started and then you can start populating.
Are you going to share that QR code down for new people?
Yes, I uploaded mine. So I'm sorry, I updated ours rather. So I want to be accountable to all of you. I updated ours, and it was painful, Steve, wasn't it?
Painful.
He was in the car going up north. He was on speakerphone. There are some assets that we have to log into where he has to get a code to get me in, and it's not easy, but you do it because it's important. And it might not be urgent, but it is important. So one of the things that I said was I want to change the demographic of the real estate investor in Grand Rapids. And I wanted to bring an opportunity for you as an investor to meet a good friend of ours, Rick. Rick, say hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
And,
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Rick.
and Rick has an incredible opportunity for you as an investor, and it has to do with real estate, but it's an angel investment opportunity. And Steve and I are both debt and equity investors in earnest. I don't want to take all of Rick's thunder, but one of the big things we did with Earnest, because it is real estate, and my friends are a lot of realtors, so they understood it. They already used the app. So we had the opportunity to change the demographic of the Earnest angel investor from, did I get this right, Rick? Less than 5% female to over 50% female?
Yes.
Yes. Can I have an amen for that? More women are at the angel investing table, and we're learning and we're growing together. So with that, I would love Rick to present his opportunity. He's just going to give you an amuse-bouche, a little taste tonight, and we are going to gauge the interest here in the room. And when you guys all raise your hand and say, tell me more, we are going to schedule a more comprehensive Zoom so that Rick can walk you through what that looks like, because we only had a few minutes for an introduction and, like I said, just a little taste of what he has for us. So how great is that? Great. Welcome, Rick.
Thanks, Margot. Thanks, Steve. I'm hearing myself. I'm going to.
Are you on two different devices, or are you still on with Steve? Or
Still on. But let me just that. I just put mine on mute. That way I can't hear myself. I just want to thank Margo for inviting me to your meeting. I want to thank all of you as realtors. I'm imagining some of you Williams agents and our Earnest app. We were the first fully digital earnest money app in the United States. A couple of other competitors that came in earlier using check capture or local check deposit. We were the first fully digital earnest money, and Keller Williams agents are our user group. So we really appreciate it. We have over 220 that use Earnest. And we really love Williams customers and agency with their home buyers. We're having a record month in September. It's usually something we do in May and June, but this is probably going to be the highest volume months we've ever done. We just had a really good summer coming, despite the challenges in the real estate overall. As you all know, 33 or 34 months in year-over-year decreases in terms of homes sold. But Earnest has been able, because of loyal and smart realtors like our customers and agents there in Grand Rapids and elsewhere, we've never had a down month, and we're up about 35% year-over-year so far year to date. So we're certainly very grateful for your help. With respect, just a couple of basics. Many of our angel investors are first-time angel investors. We are 100% funded by angels. We've never taken capital from professional, like venture capital or private equity or, huge strategics. We do have some large angels like Gary Keller. He's our largest cash investor. We have a couple of other, quite large sort of family offices that have invested. But if you take our top two investors out, there's about 100 angel investors, and the average is about 115,000 that they've invested in our company. And our favorite investors, by the way, like Gary, are folks who are operators, practitioners who sell houses. That's what they do. They list houses, they represent buyers and sellers. And when that home goes under contract, they recommend Earnest to their home buyers. So, I would say out of our 104 or so angel investors, maybe half of them are operators, agents who are actually working in the industry. And we love that, because the more you use Earnest, the more our angel investors use Earnest, the more our company is more valuable we are and the more value we create. So just a quick introduction on that. We're 100% angel funded. We're actually fully funded. We opened up about 150,000 of additional funding to go into the Her Best Life event. Last year, when Margot was running that organization, running that conference, we had an awesome outcome. One of their founders is on our board, Kimberman Kitty from DC. She's a board member of ours. Another mega agent here in the upstate of South Carolina and North Carolina, Jen Hubble. She was an early investor, and together they introduced us to Margot at Mega Agent Camp 2 summers ago. And so we were able to attend the conference last year. And to her success story, again, it was her and Kimber and Jen and their enthusiasm that really made this happen. It wasn't me or us even. It was really more the teamwork that we brought together. We brought on 35 female investors. And that if you take individual investors, men and women, we actually have, to Margot's point, more women and individual investors than men, individual investors. Of course, that takes out like family trusts and, self-directed IRAs and, marital trust and those kinds of things. If you don't count the groups, individual investors, we have more women than men, which was not the case. I think we had 5, to your point, Margot, before, and we added 35. So that was a big step forward, and we love it. 65% of realtors are women. We believe in serving the industry. We have a woman on our board. We have about a third of our staff are women. When I joined the company in 2019, I was the 7th employee, and it was 6 other white guys, in the room. We didn't have a single female. Now we've got department heads and team leaders, and head of product, all incredibly talented and powerful in their own disciplines, women. So that's something we're committed to, not just because it's the right thing to do, but because those are our customers. 2/3 of the customers are realtors are women. So it only makes sense for us to select and promote women in our company. And that's not as you all know, you can probably tell, that's not some sort of political statement or woke, doctrine. It's just good sound business. And we have some amazing women that work in our company. Lady on our board, the Her Best Life, through them and a few other investors that have come in through that conference. We set a goal of 150. We're at 70. Margot, I haven't had a chance to tell you that. As of today, we've raised half that goal. And, basically next week, we're going to close our funding round. So when Steve and Margot called me last week, I told them we're basically at the very end of our fundraising process. But if there's, 1 or 2 of y'all that want to get in on that, normally the minimum's 50, but with Her Best Life, since we're well above that now, we're over $500,000 from the ladies who invested. The minimum's now 10. So we're excited about having more agents, more women, realtors on our cap table because they love what we do, and they are excited about promoting us to their customers and their market centers and offices, and finding ways to help make the investment even more valuable. So that's a little bit about us. Again, you probably know us pretty well. If you don't, it's a free app you can download off the web, the App Store. It's also in KW Command. It's also in Dotloop. About 40% of our total earnest money deposits come between Dotloop and Keller Williams. That's, as I mentioned, those 2 are our largest customer groups, and we're very thankful for the business we have with those 2 systems. We'd love to have you use us. We'd love to have us use us more often. We don't like checks. We don't like wires. There's a lot of fraud that goes on in our industry. A lot of horror stories going around. You talked about the power of stories. Many of you hopefully you haven't experienced yourself, but probably all of you have heard stories of check fraud and wire fraud from the beginning of the real estate transaction to the end. It's about a $7 billion problem. And praise God, we've had 445,000 earnest money deposits. We've never had a single case of fraud, not one. I like to say only 0. We've had only 0 cases of fraud after all those times. And so, yeah, we're very proud of that. Last thing I'll say, that wasn't why we started the company. It was started by a Keller Williams agent here in Greenville. He started it because he was just tired of running around, picking up and dropping off checks. It was a waste of his time. It didn't add value to his customer. It didn't add value to the transaction. And he basically, going through the shift, 08 to 011, he basically said, I've got to figure something out because I'm spending a week of my life every year doing low value work with picking up and dropping off checks. And so he invented Earnest. And so that's an extra week of vacation every year that he's taken. He hasn't made any money on Earnest yet, but he's certainly got that one extra week of vacation from saving time and helping his home buyers be more efficient as well. So that's just a little bit about us. Again, as Margot said, if you have a desire to have more information, we'd be happy to host a Zoom call. Again, it's even if we just want to talk about how we can grow Earnest in your brokerages and markets, happy to talk about that. But if you have an interest in being one of our last angels, we'd be happy to talk about that too.
To turn up your sound a little bit. I think he muted, so we didn't get. Can you hear me now?
I can.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Thank you for that. Can you repeat the number of users of Earnest, because you glitched right when you gave that number?
Well, in the context of fraud, life to date, we've done 450,000 transactions. We'll do 150,000 this year. So we're growing, quite a lot. We'll do about maybe 175,000 next year.
Okay, great. And not everyone here is a realtor, so I didn't want anyone here to feel like he was just talking to realtors. He's talking to anyone that would like to this investment opportunity. So is anyone here interested in a Zoom to learn more? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yes, we're doing a Zoom. All right, so we're going to be organizing that, and that information will be coming out via email. So you have to make sure that I can read your email address on that list. Welcome, come on in, and you can just sit up there right now. We're going to be calling you up in a second. So how incredible is that? And there's one story Steve asked me to share. In this industry, you hear so many crazy stories about Earnest checks, whether it's what the client has to do to get the Earnest check where it needs to go on time, or the realtor has to do to get the Earnest check on time. And if it doesn't happen in time, the contract's voided. So it's a big deal. And this app makes it so easy. I remember the first time I used the Earnest app, I was like, is that it? Are we done? We're done. It's so easy. So yeah, there's all sorts of crazy stories about that. So we will organize a Zoom, and we will get more information to you so you can make a solid investment decision. Rick, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes. All right. See you later. So
Bye.
Now we are going. Thank you so much, Rick. And I want to welcome all of our live stream viewers also. I don't know if you can see, we have live stream viewers, and then this is going to be on demand on our YouTube channel. So if there's anyone that you're thinking needs to see that, or what's coming next, it's going to be there immediately after tonight's presentation. So now we are going to seamlessly stop casting from Steve's, and I am going to share my screen. Let's see if this works. So it's presenting on my end. Now, why isn't it showing up there? Maybe I'll unplug and replug.
Okay, Barbara's going to do a shout. If anyone needs to use the restroom, it's just around the corner here on the other side of that wall, okay?
Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Miracles happen. All right. So can we please have our InvestHER panelists come up? And if you could sit in place, then everyone will have your name. So Regina was coming in hot, so we wanted to make sure.
Where's the person?
Hello. Thank you.
Hi.
The drive. Oops, sorry. Awesome. Yay. Okay. We did it. Awesome. And by the way, I counted everyone while I had a minute. We are officially double the size of last month. So that is awesome.
Do that with our investments.
Yes, amen. I am so excited that you guys had a chance to listen to that. So we are going to start with Mia. And if you could just introduce yourself to everyone, talk a little bit about what your day job is, like where you live and your day job, and then your family, just so people can get like a well-rounded idea of your responsibilities and the people in your life.
Okay. I'm Mia Walker, and I would have liked to dress up a little bit nicer to be up on this panel, but we're in the middle of a second renovation, and this is what I could find, literally. And it was pouring buckets when I left. I was like looking for my cute shoes, and I'm like, I gotta leave in these right now. So
Mia could look great in a paysack.
So I am married. I have one college graduate who starts a new job in a couple of weeks, and then another senior at Michigan State. And then we raised our kids in Grand Rapids. That's how we met Margot and Steve in many different ways, but raising our kids in the same town. And in the year of COVID, we decided that we always loved doing homes and remodeling them. And my husband and I work well and are still married, so it seems to work well with all these projects. So we ended up buying an old farmhouse in Fentonville, Michigan. That was a tear down. But we saw the vision and the beauty of it, and so we remodeled that. It took us a lot longer than we anticipated, and then we just put that up as a short-term rental, which was our ultimate goal the whole entire time, and it's been gangbusters since we did it. It's been wonderful. Middle of July, and we moved into a 950 square foot little cottage around the corner with 2 dogs and the sun, and we are in the middle of renovating that as well. So living the chaos. And my day job is I work in the aesthetic industry. So I call on I sell medical grade skincare to plastic surgeons, derms, med spas across this. I started a new job yesterday. So on top of everything else. So yeah. So I travel the state of Michigan.
Like you're moving, you're in boxes, you've got dogs.
Your dogs.
Mm-hmm. Kids, husband.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Life is perfect, absolutely perfect, with a big bow on it.
Yep.
And you started a new
little
job.
crayon.
And Mia drove from an hour away.
Yes, we live in Fentonville. Yeah, near Douglas Saugatuck area.
And this new place is a jewel box, and she is going to.
It will be very cute when it's done.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes. So great. So thank you. All right, we are going to move on to Regina.
Hello. So born and raised in Grand Rapids. And I do not have any kids, I'm not married, but I have a ton of nieces and nephews and half of them live across the street. The other half are grown up, have their own places, and live all over Grand Rapids. So I see them every day, and I feel like a second mom. So that's my little blessing. Just regard, what was my next? Oh, what do I do during the day? I actually own my own business. So I own a recruiting firm, and we're headquartered here in Grand Rapids, but we work nationally, so we're active in 33 states, and that keeps me busy. So we place a lot of engineers and professional skill sets of all sorts.
And you live right here in Grand Rapids?
Yes, and I'm right here. So
business owner, so not a full-time investor.
No, not a full-time
Yes,
investor
not
by
a
any
full-time
means.
investor. All right, thank you. Perfect. All right, Lisa.
Okay, I'm from California originally, and I've been in Grand Rapids for almost 18 years. I am in real estate for 24 years. I own this Callawans franchise, and I've been an investor for 20 years. And my wife is here, and my sister, and my nephew, who's also in real estate, and my friend, and my friend. I'm also a recruiter. So
Are you?
Yes. It doesn't happen by
So
magic.
I guess that's what else. So my day job is I am here managing a lot of moving parts behind the scenes and some in front. Love what I do, and I've flipped properties. I own rentals, and it's $10.
Hey, she's a realtor.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Sorry.
And last name is Costanza.
Costanza.
And Lisa is so she's an investor in multiple businesses and properties.
Yep.
And she is also the operating principal, which means basically the person, CEO of this market center. There's a lot of Kellerisms that we use,
Yeah.
and so no one really.
Yeah, brand principal means you own the franchise. So,
And so, not like she's juggling many hats.
I have lots of free time. Let's go to lunch.
Loves motorcycles still,
I
right?
ride.
Yeah.
I've been a rider for 45 years.
Yeah.
So
It's like to have fun too. Oh, and Lions fan here.
Lions fan.
Everybody right now.
I was a well-rounded
Yeah.
mixture of people. Yes. All right. Cheryl is up.
Hi, I live in Lake City, Michigan. I work in Grand Rapids, Michigan for a hotel collection downtown. So I work from home 2 days a week and then I come down here 3 days a week. So I feel like I kind of have the best of both worlds. I live on a lake. I found my retirement home a little early, which is awesome. And then I get to come down here and get the hustle and bustle at the same time. So I feel very fortunate to do that. The reason I do that is because I accidentally fell in love with a man who lived in Cadillac. So last June we were married, and then I have a beautiful 7-year-old stepson as well. So that is why I live in 2 different cities or 2 different towns, and it's been great and works out great for everybody. So we really enjoy it. But my day job is for a hotel collection. I'm the buying manager for them, and so I buy everything from toilet paper to sage or herbs or
It has great stories.
and sometimes I'll spend $500,000 in a day, and sometimes I'm haggling over the price of potatoes. So yeah, so it's a fun job, and we just it's a lot of fun, but and then the rentals are a passive income for me. So that's about it.
And bonkers.
And Bonkers. I have the best little dog ever. His name's Bonkers, and he's crazy.
And Cheryl and I met
Yes.
because she lived right across the hall
Yeah.
from us. We were lucky enough to have her as a neighbor. And now she lives in Cadillac.
Yes, I'm telling you.
So.
Found a wonderful man.
Oh, well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
All right, Holly Joe,
So I am Cheryl's sister, which is how I ended up
big
with
sister?
big sister.
Okay.
Yes, 2.5 years. I'm older and wiser.
Yes.
No, she keeps me grounded most of the time. I don't know. I guess I have a 27-year-old boy. I'm not married. I have been divorced, but we get along, so it wasn't horrible. I have 3 golden doodles.
Black, white, and
And
brown.
brown. I have all the colors, and they all have different personalities for sure. Rescued a Mancoon from one of the tenants, and so I have that too.
She has a tiger in her house.
Yes, I have fish, which was also a landlord friend. A tenant went to jail and left the water running and flooded the whole downstairs. And that
Nobody has any problems like that, right?
he was so upset, and he was gonna put these Oscars in the lake. And I'm like, that's like a $10,000 fine. You can't just put a random fish in the lake. So I rescued the fish tank. Just ban the dogs and the fish and cats, and I do the thing.
In Cadillac.
In Cadillac, yes.
So, full-time investor.
Yeah.
And I ran into these 2 ladies last night practicing
We were practicing
for tonight. So we take
were
this
not
seriously.
speaking as clearly.
We take this seriously. They did. They came into town a day early. That is commitment. I was so excited.
Well, I'm a dog too.
Oh, yes.
Teacup Chihuahua. So.
That's right.
I am too.
Yeah, lots of animals. So everyone's got a very full life.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, So we'll just start down here and move down again. Okay, what age did you start investing, Mia, and what made you start investing in real estate?
So what age did I start investing in real estate? Is that
Yeah.
like the whole real
Yeah,
estate
what age
aspect
did you,
of it?
yes.
Geez, I was probably 50. I mean, really. I mean, as far as what our intentions were with what we were going to do with, getting into the short-term rental aspect of things. Yeah. So 50. And what was the next question?
Oh, yeah, when did you, and why?
Oh, we just knew that we wanted something to create that was passive income. I have been in my day job industry for 30 plus years. I am, in my car every single day. My husband is in his car. At my age, I did not intend to start a new job yesterday that would have me taking over the entire state of Michigan, but there I am now. So, I'm trying to work my way out of sitting in my car. And so passive income was really critical for us. And I think you hit a certain age, 50, 51 was that age I hit too, where I felt like I had so many other things I wanted to do in my life. And I was like running out of time all of a sudden. And so finding that passive income brings me to tears. Finding that passive income was really important to me so that my husband and I could do some of these things. And we know we can't do it if we're both sitting in our cars traveling the state. So that was now was the time. And I wish I would have done it a long time ago, but now was the time.
Amen. Amen to that. Regina.
I purchased my first property when I was 37. So, and then I just kind of acquired additional properties along the way. Not that I'm an accidental investor. I used to get excited when I saw heavy equipment and dirt. I'm like, I want to develop and build. But I love the idea of being able to shape the environments that we live in and work in and play in, and to generate income. And for me, my brother shared something with me once that I never forgot. He talked about how royal families accumulated their wealth through property. And that's my goal, is ultimately building family legacy and family wealth that can carry on from generation to generation. And I don't always trust banks, and I looked at property as just a better bank than putting money in a bank. So.
You also shared with me culturally kind of why you started. Do you want to share anything about that?
So my background, I'm Latino American. I grew up in a Mexican culture, but I'm half Mexican, half Italian, and just grew up without having. And I remember, like, anything that I ever participated in that helps people take that step forward and have financial stability before financial prosperity. Like, I didn't even have enough to start. I didn't even meet ground zero. I was below ground zero with even Dave Ramsey. I'm a Dave Ramsey financial piece. I couldn't even put into practice what he said because I didn't have enough money to follow his principles yet. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it was just kind of breaking through that wall and that ceiling. And so for me, again, property was just a great avenue to do that. So
she pointed out something very interesting. I don't know if you guys caught it in my post and in our email. One thing these women all do have in common was, and correct me if I'm wrong, none of you were sitting on a pile of hundreds of thousands of dollars, like thinking, what am I going to do with this? I have so much money laying around. I think I should invest it in real estate. So I want you all to hear that. It's important. So thank you for sharing that. And she has such big goals to help the community, the Latino community here.
And I'm big on just helping more through just sharing information and teaching, and just empower people to do it themselves and share my story, because again, there's definitely, I'm a huge Lions fan, but it is pure grit. It takes more. Like, they're telling us, they're giving us the playbook, and it's true. I mean, when you get involved in this, don't be ready to work and sacrifice. So.
Does anyone else keep getting goosebumps? I keep getting goosebumps. All right, Lisa, how old were you when you started, and why?
23. First of all, Dave Ramsey would not like what we do. No, he would not. I started when I was 23. I bought a condo in Philadelphia when I lived there for 8 years. Sold that, moved to Los Angeles. I bought a duplex with my then partner and an investor partner who also lived in the other one. We had a complete agreement of how we'd buy each other out when the time came. because that's what you have to do. You have to prepare for everything. Very, very, that's a must. I don't care how good of a friend, sister, anybody, you need
That's
it in
wisdom.
writing. Yep, so we,
That's how you keep friendships.
yeah,
Yes.
yep, absolutely.
Good
So,
family.
and she bought us out a couple years after that. We purchased our first house. We bought a house, and then I divorced that partner and bought her out. I paid $220 for the house, bought her out for $100, sold her for $740 before I moved here. So I did move here with like $300,000, and at the time, prices of houses were like really, really cheap.
But you didn't start that.
No, I did not start with that.
Yeah.
No, I had nothing.
Good investment.
The first condo was like through the builder. I'm like, please let us. I promise we'll pay. No, we don't have a down payment. Why won't you believe in us?
Pinky swear.
He did, and he's like, I guess. I'm like, yeah, So you just gotta, seduce people sometimes.
There's always a way, and that's why it's so important to be in this room or watch this on demand, is because you start thinking different. You just start thinking different. Like, what if? And after Cheryl speaks, there's something I'm going to add about her.
So
All right.
That's my quick story.
Yeah. Thank you. When did you get started and why?
Okay, so I bought my first personal home. I signed on my 24th birthday. So I said I bought myself a house for my birthday. But then my first rental property, I was 30 when I bought my first rental property. And I started for two reasons. One, because I was a bartender full time, and obviously great and fun, but when you turn 30 and people keep asking you, oh, are you in school? What are you going to do when you grow up? Like, you kind of start to just hang your head. And so I was like, I gotta get out of this. But, starting a new career, you start at, no money an hour, and you can't survive that way. So I was stuck, and I was like, I got to do something. So brings me to the second reason I started, as I was like, please, Holly, please let me be a part of this. Like, please go into business with me, please. And she told me no for a very long time.
One of the rules.
It's a rule.
No
And she
family,
said-
no
she was
friends.
like, I'm not doing it. So it took me actually 2 full years to save $5,000.
So you kept hearing no.
And I kept hearing no
From your
and-
sister?
because I didn't have any money, and I wasn't, so it took me 2 years. I
2
saved
years to
$5,000.
$5,000.
Because I'm a bartender and I'm a knucklehead, right? So finally did it. We found this place. We went in half, and rest is history. And I don't know how far you want me to get into that.
No,
but-
we'll talk about that
okay, I
next.
thought so.
Yeah.
But honestly, it was get out of bartending, and I wanted to be a part of the family business because she's in it. Her son has how many? 5. Our dad has 9. So like it's just a family business. And I was like, you will let me in. so those are my 2 reasons. Yeah.
And so who you surround yourself with matters. And I had no idea that my yoga friends from the hallway, we did quarantine yoga, would just ask a really good question to me when I was talking about a deal that Steve and I wanted to do. And what was your question to me?
I asked, have you ever thought of land contract, right?
Seller financing.
And which I learned from her. I can't take any credit. I learned that from her.
So what?
So
You passed it along.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. So we'll share more on that later, but it has made a big difference in our life, that one question. So thank you. All right, Holly Joe.
Yes. Okay. What's the question again?
How
first?
old were you when you started and why?
Okay, so I got my real estate license when I was 22. I bought my first rental when I was 23. And I bartended day I turned 18, right on through. I know.
You're supposed to do this before.
I know, I was supposed to write it down. Yeah, my first one, I was 23 when I bought my first rental. And it was seller financing, land contract deal. And it was, I got into the real estate part, and I was like, I'm watching everybody buying these rentals, doing the things, and I'm like, there's gotta be an easier way than like going to the bank. You know what I mean? Cause I had like crack credit, bartended my
Bartender
whole life.
knucklehead.
Yeah, like, and I got in with a bunch of landlord investors that used me as their real estate agent. And I'm like, hey, will you buy one for me? And I'll pay you back. They're like, okay. It was crazy.
So you found a property,
I found a property.
they bought it,
Yep,
and
I
then
paid.
they were your bank.
Yep, and I do a 10% upcharge plus 10% interest. And I did that over and over and over again. And I would use my commission on the sale. So not only did I use my commission was my down payment. So I would talk these guys into buying a property. I'd find it. I'm like, all right, let's negotiate. I'll get the buyers down or the seller down as low as possible. I'll pay 10% over what we buy it for, and I'll use my commission as the down payment. And I'll pay you 10%. I just did that over and over and over again as a kid. Like literally 23 was the first time.
And we'll get to where you are now. We'll get to where you are now
Well,
later. So
yeah,
okay.
okay.
Cliffhanger, okay? But what was your why? Why did you start?
I think similar to that, it was like I mean, what
Single mom.
yeah, single mom.
Single
yeah.
mom, period, done.
Yeah.
End of story.
Because I was bartending, and he started school. So when he started kindergarten, because I would put him in daycare during the night when I was working, and then I was with him during the day. But when he went to school, then I started just feeling super guilty. Like I was working, like he was in daycare all the time or school, and that just felt super shitty in the inside. And I had him at 17, P.S. So we kind of grew up together, but yeah, it was definitely that I needed to get out of the bar and start doing something that let me be home with him. Yeah, for sure.
That's a huge why.
Mhm, you're right.
And
I
you
forgot
guys,
that part.
can you guys connect? Well, because you lived it, and it's
I
not,
did, and it's so long ago.
and you forget. That is extraordinary that you did that. You got your real estate license while you were a single mom.
Oh yeah.
You got your broker's license while you were a single mom,
Mhm.
and you started investing with thinking differently
Mhm.
and asking the people around you.
Oh yeah. I just
You had to
like
ask.
you said, just kind of trick them
Or
into
did
it.
these people come to you and say, "Hey, do you want hundreds of thousands of dollars?
No,
we
no.
can give it to you, and here's the deal."
No.
No, you had to ask for it.
Yep.
Absolutely. And do you guys connect the dots? Her son is now 27 and owns how many properties? Goosebumps? Pretty cool. Thank you.
I hope you gave your commission as the first payment towards your investors.
Oh yeah.
So
30
you didn't
days.
pay income
I ain't
tax on it.
paying one more
Okay.
time. Yep.
Did you guys catch that?
Yep.
These-
Good job.
this
No.
is what I'm gonna teach
Yeah,
you.
it went right in. No, I'm not paying income taxes on that.
All right. All right. Starting down here again. What were your goals when you started investing in real estate?
What were my goals?
Yeah, what were your goals?
I kind of said that earlier, just the fact that we wanted to create a passive income. And, it's not 100% passive right now because obviously even, we manage the farmhouse as a short-term rental and things like that because we live 2 miles around the corner. But, we know that we can, at some point have a property manager that we could pretty much make it, pretty much 100% passive if we wanted to. But we just wanted some passive income so that, again, as we were getting older and empty nesters at this point and looking at, the next kind of last quarter of our lives in front of us, that we had options. And we've talked, one of my ultimate goals is that I land somewhere warm. And I remind my husband this every single winter from January till about May 1st, somewhere warm. And as I get older, it's like obviously in front of me I hate winter as of January 1. So that's one of my ultimate goals. And you have to, there are some jobs you do remotely, but basically not my job. So again, we invested because I needed it to be passive. That was the biggest thing. And I will add that we do have, he's a really great chip and I get to play Joanna and we do really well together. And so we do have a passion about it too. We love to be creative and take it and design it and do all of that together. So we can see the vision. So it's a good thing for us together. Some of our friends play golf, some run marathons, we do houses, so.
Much more profitable. Our vision for revenue is that all women have freedom, equality, and choice. And did you hear? She wanted options.
Yeah.
She wanted choices. So I love that. All right.
What's your goal? What's my goal? So I alluded to it a little bit earlier, but it's really building wealth and because wealth, what does it bring? Freedom. It's you're segueing perfectly into what was my driver, just freedom and independence. And I remember, it's actually one of my brother's friends, and their family was independent wealthy, and I remember they were wealthy through property though, and they were taking a family vacation internationally, and they were going to be gone for like 4 to 6 weeks. The entire family, so the father, the sons, their spouses, and they built that business in one generation. So it wasn't that it took like 3 lifetimes to build. I mean, they built it and were able to benefit from it in their own lifetime. And I want to enjoy like my wealth. I don't want to have it like just kind of, in a rocker, right? I want to enjoy it and live it and be able to live with it. So that for me was a big driver and a why.
Amen to that. All right. Lisa.
Mine was I wanted to build passive wealth. I didn't want to have to, I always wanted to work because I would truly believe that you should work while you can to fund your investments, and then let those investments keep making money, and you keep making money to fund your life or additional investments and other opportunities. So for me, it was like I wanted to build, I want 7 passive streams of income. I want to have, we own properties. And I figure later on when we retire at a certain age, I'd like to land contract things out because I don't want to take the tax hit. So, be able to sell those on land contract and take the money over time. So really it's about building a great life now and a great life for the future and bring people along with me along the way. So, and I'm creative. It's like I wanted to flip houses and do pretty things, and, I get tired of just doing things for the people. So I like to build and do. And create something I can walk away from and go, look what I did. Then you walk away and you go, you never think of it again. You sell it, and you're like, all the details of it, then you're like, you sell it and you're like, you never think about it again. It's like move to the next, right? So.
Thank you. All right, Cheryl, your goal. You kind of alluded to it before, but is there anything else?
I guess I don't know if it's a goal, but I didn't know that it gives you control. Like, I have a full-time job that I really, really love, but I think it's because I had the ability to walk away if I wanted to, and if my employer is not treating me right, or they are not doing, things I agree with, or something, the culture changes, I have the power and the ability to walk away.
Or something happens in the market, and then they have the downside.
And I have negotiating power, and I don't have to walk into my reviews every day or every year, hoping they don't call my bluff, because it's not a bluff. So, so for me, I didn't realize that that's what I was doing for myself, but I am comfortable every single day of my life, and I am confident that no matter what happens, I'm good. So that is now not, I didn't know that, but that is why I do it now.
What do you think of that posture? That's pretty incredible. That is really powerful. And if you were here last month, one of the things that I talk about is how to gain that confidence. And do you guys remember what comes first? Because you don't magically get confidence like that. Do you guys remember what comes first? You asked me for it. You remember?
Courage.
Action.
Courage, wasn't it?
Courage. Oh,
A++.
Courage comes first. And after courage, it's consistency. Consistently showing up to do the thing. And doing that over time, you earn confidence. And that's where that posture comes from. I love that. All right. Holly Joe.
Oh, my goal. I guess I don't like to be told what to do.
Anyone else?
I'm extreme. Like, I'm the most extreme with it. I just don't like it. As mom and dad, I was a very difficult child. Just basically being your own boss. I can do whatever I want. Get up when I want, go to bed when I want. I can trash out a place, or I can wait till Friday because I don't feel like doing it on Wednesday. But you know what I mean? Like, just having the ultimate control. Don't tell me what to do. Other than there's certain laws you have to follow. That's it. That's it. So that was always my goal, even young. please don't tell me what to do. I don't like it.
And it's really glamorous, right?
Yeah.
So what did you share with me last night? And I want you to
Oh,
let
yeah,
people know.
okay. So literally on the way down here, because we stayed the night at the Amway to prepare. Yeah, I literally had to stop by. I have a snake in my truck right now. I snaked out a toilet on the way down here.
So, and she's choosing to do that. She's choosing to do the property
Yeah, I could call a
management.
guy, but I was right there, and it saved me $150, right, for calling the plumber guy.
And you had time.
I had time. I was right there. I can do it. It's fine.
Or you hire a property manager and your net operating income is going to be less. That's
Yeah. I change my own plugs and I trash out all my stuff. I paint my own stuff. Yeah, I do a lot of it. But
She's full time.
I'm full time.
She's full time. Yeah. So thank you for your authenticity and sincerity. On that, this is a great segue. We talked about courage. Courage doesn't mean that you don't have fear. The Latin root of courage is what? Cor, C-O-U-R, which means heart. It means you act in spite of fear. So with that in mind, Mia, how did you break through any fear of investing in real estate?
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm really have yet. You know what I mean? I mean, it's.
So it was perfect timing with this purchase of the new house, right?
I mean, literally, July 2nd, I worked for a company that chose to downsize. So on July 2nd, after our quarter was over, I was told that they were going to go down to one rep for the state of Michigan, and I didn't have a job anymore.
And you were not the rep.
I was not the rep anymore. So, literally.
And where did that time with your new home?
We had just bought the second house like 2 weeks earlier, and I
So it
was
was
trying to
perfect timing.
get the farmhouse buddy as a short-term rental, which I thought was, but anybody that's done that, it's still thousands of dollars. I was like, we need this and we need that, and I was just like, this is crazy. And then we were leaving on vacation with our family. So I think
Thank you for being about it.
I think
This
that
is
the
important.
fair is, and I am the property manager or the project manager, I should say, of all these projects that we do. So I'm a finance girl. So I think that there's always that fear, and these things happen, but everything happens for a reason. I have been, I have a job as of yesterday. It's a great company. I've had this time in between losing my last job.
Knowing Mia, the house is probably done.
Well, we are looking through this one, but then we have to plumb it all, and we didn't plan on that. So we have lived through a lot in the past couple of weeks, but so I think there's always that unknown, there's always that fear. I think it's about having a good partner, whether it's a business partner, a life partner, whatever it is, to work through all of that.
They complement each other very well.
We do, but it's stressful, and I think that I would not say that I'm 100% through the fear. I'll be really honest with you. I'm very excited that we did get out of the gate, like with our, because you work so hard on these projects, and then you wonder if it's really worth it. You know what I mean? Because we both work full time, we spend every single minute of our lives. I'll be honest with you, it's a huge investment of,
Your life energy.
Yes, exactly. Every bit of energy you're putting into
Life
it.
energy.
I'm sorry.
Your life energy.
Your life energy. You're exactly right. You really are. So, and as you get older, you don't have as much of that. I'm really feeling it on the second one. So I would say that the fear, I don't know if I'm a girl that will ever lose that fear, you know what I mean, to be honest with you, but enough of that I believed in my husband believed in me, and we knew we wanted this bad enough because we didn't know what else, you know what I mean? We didn't know what else, but we knew we could be good at this. It took us a little longer, but we knew we could be good at it. So, I think with everyone, the fear will go away a little bit more.
And I always, when the kids would have fear, whether they were public speaking or doing a sporting event, I would always say fear means you care.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have that feeling of butterflies, it probably means you don't care very much. And this is a big deal to you because your life is very big. So thank you for your authenticity. All right, Regina. How do you break through that fear?
I think for me, I talk to myself a lot. So yeah, I do. I have a lot of conversations with myself, and sometimes I even answer myself. And my nieces and nephews have caught me, so they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm just processing through. But a part of it is just I make a decision to not let fear matter. It's literally a choice. like what place in my life and my decision making will fear have? And because I can't say I don't feel it. I can't say it doesn't try to creep up, but just immediately like looking at facts, just trying to keep myself grounded on, you know, what's really happening isn't an option, and just do it afraid. You know, we always say with the type of work that I do, you know, is it a problem to solve or attention to manage with different things that happen in the business? And it's really just attention to manage. You know, you can't eliminate it necessarily, but for me, it's just basically I'm going to be boss over fear, and you are not going to have a place in this decision, and just making that choice.
I like that. Thank you. And if this helps anybody, I have a morning command that I say, and part of it is I act in spite of fear. So just tell yourself, like, that's your command. I act in spite of fear. All right, Lisa, how do you break through that fear?
I've just always been a risk taker. You know, I've always just said, why should I do this? And owning my own businesses and getting into, you know, one of the benefits about being in real estate and having your license. It's like if I bought a property and it didn't turn out like I wanted, or I might break even, it's like I can buy it and have a commission. I can sell it and have a commission. So, you know, there's a huge advantage to that. Or that's one of the advantages too if you are investing with somebody who's in real estate. You know, that I think it takes a little bit of the risk factor away. So I just never thought that I wouldn't lose anything. And if I lost something, so I learned. I mean, what would I have to pay to go to college to learn that? How many thousands of dollars would I have to pay? So if I lost $10,000 flipping a house or doing something, that's my education. So I moved through it. Yeah, just move through it. Yeah.
So I love the way that you look at that as an education, because you're going to pay for your education, whether it's baptism by fire or some type of, you know, more organized type of education.
I mean, I didn't go to college. I'm a gritty person. I'll just do it. Figure it out.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
I say, you know, you've taken a lot of risk and you've had a lot of success through that risk. Mm-hmm. So I think that success empowers you to keep moving forward, knowing that you had, like, oh, that worked out. It's like it's not like it's like you had so many stumbling blocks, you're just going down a hill and I can do it, I don't know. No, you've had a lot of great things happen.
Yep. My friend Sharon, who I've been friends with for 27 years, she also lived in California. She just moved here like 2 years ago. So
I bought a property. A 100 and something year old property, which doesn't barely exist in California.
Yes, exactly. And you don't learn from your successes; you learn from your failures. Sarah Blakely's dad, especially, you know, Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx. Mm-hmm. One of his big things that he taught his kids, and obviously it served Sarah very well, is to not fear failure. You fail forward, and you fail your way to success. And I think she's a great example of that. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, Cheryl.
Can I say something to that point?
Yes.
I always say that failure is not the opposite of success, but it's a part of success. It's a necessary ingredient. Mm-hmm. So failure is not a period, it's just a comma, and you keep going.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, if you haven't failed, you haven't taken enough risks.
Yes.
And a lot of people say, you know, you're not going to fear anything in your comfort zone. So you run toward that fear is probably pointing you in the right direction of getting outside your comfort zone. All right, Cheryl. And Steve? Steve J, are we doing okay with sound? Can you hear? Like, I don't know what your bars are telling you. It's good? Okay.
We have a bar here?
I don't know. Even the people that are talking in the audience, is it showing up? But tell me if you need me to repeat anything. Okay. Because I'm facing this way, so we were worried about that sound. All right, how do you break through that?
Well, again, I was lucky. I wasn't ever afraid because I had my big sister to take care of me. So I learned from her. She's fearless, and I'll let her talk about that. But, you know, I can't say that I was ever afraid just because I had her support. And my dad is a general contractor, and my nephew is a powerhouse. And, you know, and it's just like, and my husband now, he can do all kinds of things, and, you know, and it's just like, I was never afraid because I was surrounded in the center of these incredible people. And even if I wasn't, the best one for the job, I knew somebody who was. So it never scared me. So I was very lucky.
We won't let her fall over.
No. So
It's great. All right. Molly Jo.
Yeah, don't fear. Non-zero. It's almost the opposite of fear, I guess. Is most people, like my broker originally, my dad, a lot of my big time investors in the beginning would try to calm me down, like put a little fear in there, because I would jump off a cliff and figure out where the parachute was after my feet left the ground. Like, and I still do that,
joke.
but I'm better.
Exaggerating.
I'm better at it now, but yeah. So, I did some crazy stuff. I lost everything twice. So, well, I mean, what's the worst thing that happens? I start over.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it twice. It's fine. Like you can't.
You always go home to dad.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like having a good family, good support, knowing that you're never gonna be like completely homeless. I always have a couch. But it's I don't know, just I like the adrenaline of it. Like it's so fun. Like it's so fun when you're doing a deal and you can make the numbers work and get the person to say yes, and the appraiser comes in or whatever it is, and you got a tenant lined up, even though you got $50 in the bank account, that's all you got, and you're like, okay, sign the paper the next, and then that check will clear. I've done that a couple times. So like I'm not opposed to fear. I like it.
Well, I have to, it reminded me, your saying is steal from Peter and Paul.
Yes.
I said that. That's been one of her mantras.
It works.
Hey, Jesus.
That's a millionaire mindset right there. It's not,
It scares
it's not
people.
one or the other, it's both.
Yeah.
Both or all.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we're gonna switch a little bit because I really want to make sure we cover this topic. Did everybody say what their first investment was? I don't think so. We didn't talk about that yet. I know, so I don't know if we covered it yet. So you guys did not hear what their very first investment was, because I know you didn't share it yet, so I don't think I asked them. Okay, so you kind of alluded to it.
In real estate?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the farmhouse that we bought.
Yeah, and you lived in it.
We did. We bought it. So we had our house. So 2020, we all know.
And I don't know if you guys caught, this was a real big fixer upper.
Oh,
did you say the runaway? Did you use
It was a tear down. I mean, it was.
Everyone was like,
Oh
run
yes,
away.
we brought some very good friends that we have a group called the Italy group. We travel with them and things like that to Italy, obviously, and we took them to see it. I don't even know if we had closed on it yet, and they all looked at us and they were like, "If anybody can do it, you guys can do it, but you are crazy." And my dad was just like,
wasn't there like a
tear
roof situation?
"Oh, it was. I mean, it was a nightmare." But we just could see it. I mean, we could see it. It's on 10 acres, and then we ended up buying the 16 acres next door, and it's beautiful. But it was gross. I mean, it was really gross. It was really bad. And we couldn't live in it in the first year. So 2020, first investment. I had this thing that I was ready to do something else. I was itching, like the house we were living in was gone.
And 2020
was COVID. Yes, so we put our house up for sale, sold it 3 days before the lockdown to a couple from California that saw it on a video, and then we had to be out.
It should have, I kept saying, I want to scoop this house up and move it to Manhattan.
It was a great house. So we had done amazing things with it. But so we had to be out, and in that time frame, we had a daughter that was still her senior in high school. So we buy this house and we cannot live in. And so we moved to a rental in East Town of some friends of ours so our daughter can finish high school. I started a new job. And then for a year, my husband and I drive back and forth.
45 minutes.
45 minutes to a good hour. And I would say mostly Doug. And they were.
So that was really convenient.
Yeah, super convenient. And we had them. We did everything but a couple things, and one was demo out, and we asked them to leave one toilet there, and they didn't. So we had a 5-gallon bucket that my husband would utilize. We would spend the night on a blow-up mattress there sometimes because he didn't want to come back and forth or whatever. So those are the not glamorous things about doing, renovations. That was it. We saw it. I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted something for my family. I could envision this farmhouse and what it would become.
And if you guys could all walk through it, it would be like.
Yeah, I mean, if I showed you before and after, it is.
It feels like
amazing.
a parade home.
It's beautiful.
It's
every write-up we've gotten all 5-star reviews on, our short-term rental, but one of the things that everyone has said is it's even more beautiful in pictures or in person than even in the pictures that, we had done professionally and how peaceful it is. And that's what we wanted to create. And that was the other part of it too, is we wanted to create something we love to do it together, the passive income, but we also wanted to create an environment that people just wanted to enjoy to come, and that's exciting. Yes, exactly. So that was our first one, and now we're on to our second one. So that was our first time investing.
right. Regina.
So my first investment was actually my first residence. So I invested in something that I could live in, but just real estate appreciates, and so then the appreciation, you have a better relationship with the bank, you can borrow against it. So but my first investment was the property that I live in.
I love that. All right, Lisa.
Well, I've done residential things for myself, but when I moved here 17 and a half years ago, I think I bought 3 single family homes. And then, so those were my first investments. And then started buying multi-unit and flipped houses. So that's what 3 residential houses.
And
I kept them, fixed them.
oh, that's
held
another
them.
thing. You never have to sell. You
Yeah.
can just keep it and move.
I never lived in them.
Or
Yeah.
Everyone.
Me too.
I won't
Every
do that.
single one. It's hard.
I won't live in a
but you
renovation.
can't. So it's just a
Not
different way
anymore.
to think about it. Being in this community of high-powered, high-net-worth realtors, many of them have just never sold their home. They just keep it and rent it, then move on to the next one. So it's just a strategy. Everyone has a different strategy. There's no right or wrong. It's what works for you. And the other thing that I just wanted to point out on Regina's comment, my first investment was our home. When I talk about investing, everyone always thinks about an investment income producing property, but it's most likely your biggest investment you will ever make. It is absolutely an investment. That's why I named my company RVNU, where money works for you, because it doesn't matter if it's your home or an investment property. Let's make sure that money is going to be working for you, even if you're not realizing it. Your Grand Rapids homeowners, you appreciated 5% in the last year. I think it's pretty cool.
Buy your own home, live in it, build your equity, take your equity out and buy something else.
Yeah.
And turn that into a rental. So
These are all strategies. All right, Cheryl.
First investment.
First investment, yes. So I'm so excited for her to share this.
Saved 2 years, scraped up $5,000. Finally talked my sister into investing with me. So
And it was a glamorous,
It was this.
multifamily.
It was a $10,000 single wide in Tustin, Michigan.
The second thing I
It was, yeah. It was a piece of crap, but I was like, we're doing it. Come on. So, that's what I had enough money for. So that's what I did.
So you did half and half.
We did 50-50.
I can do that math in my head. That's good.
When we got it, it was like the people loaded their cars and left. The refrigerator was full of food. There was kitty litter in the corner. It was crazy. So, but we cleaned it all out. We had a real estate sale, like of all of the belongings.
How much did you make?
We made $1,200 off our real estate sale.
A state sale.
Oh yeah,
Our estate sale.
So we made $1,200 off our glorified yard sale.
So you're already cash positive.
Yep. Insanely enough, a bunch of people got it in their heads that the trees behind the property were worth a whole bunch of money, which they weren't. Got into a bidding war, and we sold that property in 3 weeks for $27,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna talk for that?
Yeah, so
How many weeks later?
3
3 weeks?
3 weeks. We worked our booties off.
Yeah, we did.
More than,
Yeah.
So what they really wanted was the property.
They thought, thought they got it in their heads that those trees behind the half acre were worth something, but they weren't. But whatever.
Black oak.
Yeah, but they weren't.
Oh.
And we told them that, and they didn't believe it, so whatever.
maybe we have a whole different story.
Yeah, so, I like to always say I've actually only spent $5,000 of my own money to own the properties, any of my investment properties, because I put that money in the bank, I put the proceeds in the bank, and I've not spent a dime over $5,000 for my investments. So I would say the first one is the hardest, and then after that,
Because then you just put it in with that.
so that was.
So did you do a 1031 exchange then?
I have no idea. What did they do?
She can't.
I
On a
I did.
mobile home, you
Oh.
can't, unless she just did it on the
Did you?
land, but she didn't own it long enough to be able to do that.
Oh, that's true. No,
Yeah.
you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but that was my first.
That is
investment.
so great. And how many do you own now?
I have 2 duplexes and it's 4 units. So.
2 duplexes.
So 4 doors.
Yes, I
And
have 4 doors.
equity wise?
Again, I don't know. Yeah, probably about 400. Yeah, but they are also paid off because as much as I miss you as a neighbor, when I sold my condo, it afforded me the ability to pay off all my properties in one swoop. And so I, as much as it hurt me to go, thank you for my proceeds, here you go. I did it because it was so, I'm debt free besides the house I live in now.
And that's why she can have that kind of confidence.
Yes, and confidence, yes, and then again, those are confidence.
Oh, who loves that story?
That's great.
And what was the time frame? Can you like, how many years between that first investment and when you paid the duplexes off?
Oh, well, I just paid when I sold, so 2011 to 2022.
11 years.
Okay, so it happened overnight.
Yeah, super easy. Yeah. But again, they made me money the whole time. Like I said, I'm not joking when I say I've only spent $5,000 on my investment properties. That's the only money I've spent on it personally because they have always made me money. And as soon as they started not making me money, or I sold one.
And these are yours, your own.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Holly won't go into business with me.
Oh,
I love her too much.
You got her started.
So-
And cash flow.
3,200 a month. I think maybe 35 a month. Yeah. Yep. 35 a month. Yeah, we just did. Yeah. 35 months.
How amazing is that?
Net is 19,000 a year. So after I pay everything, after all the bills, after everything I do, after plowing and lawn, and my crazy neighbor drilled a hole in the ceiling because it was leaking, and so she thought she could fix it. So she drilled a hole in the ceiling last or tenant, not neighbor. Yeah. So after all of everything, I made 19 on it, and it's just extra income.
So an extra approximate 20K plus appreciation.
Yeah. There we go. And paper. So that's the biggest thing.
And she's just getting started. So she can take that and reinvest it. That's a great down payment on something else. Okay. Hi.
There was
First
the first one. Oh, I know. I was thinking, I think it had to have been Park Street on the alley. I think so. That was the first house I bought.
Single family.
Land, yeah, it was a land kind of one, kind of like what you said. It was the one I lived in. It was a foreclosure. You know what I mean? So it was disgusting. Lived there, fixed it up. Pretty sure flipped it. Took that money, bought the next property. That's also in between when I got my real estate license. So then after that, I was like, game on. Because then I understood the process, like the mortgages and stuff.
So how much was
Yeah.
your first?
I think I paid $19,000 for the first one.
19,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
sold it for like 58,
How?
like a year later, and I did do the 1031 exchange. I actually remember changing the closing date because it was like a week from it. And I was like, no. We can't close. They're like, why? I'm like, I need my capital gains to not
So
to
I
go
know
away.
for some of you that may be new, a lot of this information, who's like newer investor? Okay, so a lot of these little details might be coming at you and you're like, oh my God, I have to remember that? Well, first of all, that's why you need a realtor.
And an accountant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great legal team, great finance team. You need a great team. That will be a future event. We have some great resources for you to talk to. But I love how you started. I love how you've grown since then. And we'll get to where you are now in a little bit. But and I know it can be overwhelming if you're newer, and that's why you need consistency. That's why you have to keep coming back. That's why you need to talk to the people that are in this room. And because these things will all pop up over time. You're not gonna take them all in at once. It's like drinking from a fire hose, but all of a sudden it starts to become your language. And then you have to start thinking strategically like that. So, all right, thank you. Let's see, I sent you so many questions, but now I'm like,
You're not gonna get to all of those.
I know. Let me gauge, do people here have questions? Because I wanna make sure I leave enough time for Q&A. Can you think of questions? Okay, Tanya has one. Okay, okay. All right, so we'll leave some time for Q&A. So let's go with a quick, what does your portfolio look like now? Okay, so you guys know where they started. And Mia, you can talk about.
So I have a farmhouse. We have the farmhouse, and now we have this little cottage that's right around the corner. So we have 2 right now.
And you know what? We'll combine the last question that I was going to ask you is what's next?
Okay, I was just gonna say. So honestly, I mean, my husband would keep going and keep going and keep going, and we just were speaking with our financial advisors maybe a month ago, and running through numbers and stuff like that. And they said, how about one more? If we got one more in there, which I think we will. I mean, we know that for sure. Doug would like 5, 10. I'm just like, oh, that seems like a lot because we do so much of the work, but eventually we may not have to do that much. But right now, I'll be honest with you, we know we want to add more to the portfolio, but because these last 2 we have purchased, remodeled, and lived in, I'll be very honest, my next one needs to be my home back in Grand Rapids. So,
well, you also mentioned that you bought property, so I would imagine developing is coming down the road.
Well, to be honest with you, we've looked at that. It is one heck of a piece of property with quite the investment of bringing in a road, then because it can be split, and then there's a huge cost to all of that. So right now it's for sale, actually. So we may take that we bought it at a really nice price point and could possibly sell it at a very nice price point, so we can take that money and put it into
Your home.
another home or investment or whatever. But right now,
because that's what you want to do.
I mean, it's time for me to go have a home that I can hang my kids' pictures up and different things like that. And so and we kind of loved we loved our community. Yes, we left our Grand Rapids community to go do these projects and never had any intention of being. We love Saugatuck, Douglas, Fenville, the whole area, but it's time to come back to Grand Rapids, and I want my own home.
Okay, so when your Airbnb, because it's pretty newer, but when that gets fully rented for what you assume, because I know you did your due diligence, you figured out what your cash flow be, what will your cash flow be on that?
About $4,500 a month.
It's pretty nice.
Yes, yeah, we really ran numbers and we were conservative. And to be honest with you, we ran our numbers through a program called Price Labs, and they kind of do they do the numbers based on the algorithm and what's going on in your area and things like that. So we will see. But really is what we're seeing, what we thought we'd run it for kind of, and what we are running it for. I think 4,500 will be.
That's your revenue.
That'll be our cash flow.
So that's your net?
That'll be, yep.
That's your net.
That's our net. On the farmhouse, yeah.
And someone's paying off her mortgage.
Yeah. So,
And
we were aggressive on like our your fixed costs and your variable and all those things and stuff like that. So, that's what we are crossing our fingers that, And then we'll see. It's interesting. The cottage is, on paper, it will, it's different, I mean, it's 2-bedroom, now 2-bath, there's another bathroom into it, but I mean, cash flow on that one looks to be about 1,700. But, you know, we'll see. You know, so we kind of say, is that worth it, or do we turn around and maybe sell it and then take that money and do something else? We're not sure. We kind of talk about it differently.
Just keep taking the next step in it.
Yeah.
Put you in the right
We'll
direction.
see. But yeah,
That's great.
but I'm coming home.
Awesome. I love that. All right. And what does your portfolio, or what does your portfolio look like now, Regina?
Well, maybe I'll show just general. So I have 6 properties now. One of them has 4 units in it. I have 2 single-family homes. I have a commercial property that has 2 storefronts that have it, but it's in disrepair right now, so it has to be developed, and I'll have 2 single-bedroom apartments. Above, I have my resident. Well, actually, I have 3 houses, and then I own like a commercial building up north, and I'm selling. So, and that money I'll take to invest in the 4-unit house that I recently became owners of, because it just needs some TLC in that one, just because of where it's located. It's right off of Medical Mile, the highest point in Grand Rapids. It's just
So good.
the rent you can charge in that area, but it just needs the investment right now. So come a long way. It's you know, starting or being a part of the business I'm a part of, it just took so much of my time. Like I thought, well, I'm changing my dream, but then just on the side, I've just been doing this little by little, you know, one step at a time. And so, and again, I love your story because it just segued perfectly with, you know, I do believe my first property is my first investment, because look at what your first property allowed you to do and afforded you. My property's appreciated almost 100%. So I could sell it for almost double what I paid for it. And I got a line of credit against it to rehab my commercial, my retail space, and I haven't used it yet, but you know, you can leverage that once you have it. For other
Yes, you
things.
can.
It's nice to know that it's sitting there.
Yeah,
ready to go.
exactly.
It's like,
Yep.
Yeah, it makes things easy and it makes things fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's next is investing in.
So my focus right now is, so I just, and Margot knows my story like intimately, but I just was very fortunate to have some very, very good deals. I like to negotiate. I have some incredibly, bought really low. So I bought more than I was ready to buy just because it was right.
Right.
Yes, but so now my goal is I want to get everything cash flow positive. So I want to get everything generating income back, and it's
So we're working together on
yes,
that.
yeah.
And it was great because we finally got all of your assets on the revenue net
Yes.
worth tracker.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that was surprising, wasn't it?
It was incredible. It was like,
So great to see.
it is, because you look at all your hard work on paper in a spreadsheet and see the numbers, you know, what you invested, what it's generating, what the managing and operating costs are, and then what you are closing the books at. So it's good to see that. So
Getting everything, and that's why my colors are black and white, because numbers are black and white. You know? Simple. All right, Lisa.
6 residential doors and 2 commercial, this building being one of my commercial, which my company leases back from me. So it's, I have a secure tenant, let me just.
Yes.
So, yeah, so I'm honestly I'm not really investing so much in additional real estate at the time. I'm investing in my agents here and ancillary businesses that support agents in my office and make me money as well, just to build an incredible empire here. Yeah, I would like to invest in some other real estate eventually, but we also have a lake house, and we live there in the summer and we rent it out in the winter. So we do that for like 6 months, and then we go back to in town and live in our condo. So that's kind of an emotional thing to do, but it's a lot of work. It sounds like it's not a lot of work, but we just moved, right? You know, this last week, and I'm like, oh God, why do we own so much shit? I don't. Why do I have so many shoes? I wear like 2 pair in the summer. So yeah.
You're the only one.
The average woman, I think, owns like 54 pairs of shoes. We both did Closets by Designs like 30 years ago. And what was the average shoes that?
Oh, I don't know.
Come on, Sharon. It was
I
like
remember.
50 pairs or something. Men owned 10 or 7. I'm like,
40 of them were black.
yeah. There's a bit of that. I'm a big believer if even if you make $100 or $200 a month
from buying your first investment. It's like somebody is paying off your investment, paying off your asset, and you have write-offs that you didn't have before, especially if you're self-managing it, which I don't. We have a property manager because I have no time for that.
And so everyone has their own way of doing things, you can see. So you just have to figure out the right answer is what's right for you and your family. I love that. All right, Cheryl. We never moved off of Mia. I got so entranced with all of your answers. Okay. Oh,
I'm trying to.
what does your portfolio look like now? Which you kind of answered this already.
Yeah.
And you gave us, we kind of jumped the gun on you.
Yeah, we did.
And then what's next?
So yeah, four doors paid off. What's next is we're gonna focus on our home too. We just bought a home on a really beautiful private lake, but we want our house to match the beautiful private lake. So we're gonna start focusing on our home and remodeling that. So that's what's next for us.
Another home.
Yes. Yeah.
That is awesome. So happy. And your first year anniversary. Just
June.
happened.
June. Yep. So
How went by so fast?
40. I was 42 and I got married
We're
for the
still
first
recovering
time.
from the wedding.
Yeah. I know, Steve.
I recovered, yeah.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah. It was a good time.
I love that for you. You deserve it.
Thank you.
All right, Holly Joe.
Okay.
What does it look?
How many?
Okay, you guys
How many?
ready for this?
How many?
What does it look like now?
They're not Taj Mahals, right? These are,
No disclaimers.
okay, so I have 58 doors.
What? What?
But they're not. So I own a couple hotel type scenario deals, and I rent to a lot of like homeless prevention, adult parole office. Yeah, I do a lot of the parolees that come out of Wexford County. I do.
And why?
I guess I like them. I don't know. I mean, the people, they need somewhere to go. There's nowhere to go.
She wants to
It's
give back.
really
and
expensive.
Gina mentioned the same thing, like providing opportunity within the community for affordable housing.
It's really expensive.
for the
Like,
people that you care about.
they have nowhere to go.
And they come out with no ID.
Nothing.
They come out with nothing,
Yeah.
and they're supposed to
Scared.
go get a job. They're
Yeah.
supposed to have an address.
So they're
They don't
easy,
even
they're
know how
probably
to do
really
cell
easy
phones.
tenants to have.
Very. And until they're not. But, no, they're good. They're grateful. Most of them, I would say 95% of the time it's just gratefulness.
It's probably the same
Yeah.
with anybody.
Yeah, and then, but I have those 3 different hotel type situations like that with I have 10 cabins that are kind of in the same, they're not, obviously it's not a hotel, it's more like cabins, but in the same property. And then I have a bunch of 11 doors in town that are duplexes, or threeplexes.
She's pretty much lost track.
Yeah,
You guys
I know. I know. I had to add it up the other day when
Do you need, because you
asked
put
me.
it on the revenue
I
network
know.
tracker.
I couldn't hear. I just
No, it's not.
no. I know.
So she's lost track,
It is
she
not.
has a lot. And the other thing I love about your story is related to these businesses, you have other cash flow things, like other cash flow businesses, like, do I remember correctly, Coin Laundry?
Oh, yeah, okay, all right, fine. But that's just in the units, like, or
But
each.
It's
No, you're
not
right.
just.
You're right.
Justice minimizes
Yeah.
you
I
as a
don't throw
businesswoman.
that. Yeah, but that's
That
why I go to
is-
the bar with those.
I
don't run that through the spreadsheet. Yeah. No, you're right, and I do. I make. I can make money. You give me something, I'll make money.
Is this-
That is exactly how I do it.
And that is an I am statement, right? That is so, you're telling yourself, you give me something, I'll make money on it.
Always do.
So listen to
That's
that.
crazy.
Do you guys love her story? All these stories are so powerful. And I think, Holly Joe, you wanted to come up here the least amount.
Yeah.
Of everybody.
I was kicking and screaming. No.
She did not send a picture.
Nope. I didn't want.
We
Cheryl
don't-
found a picture
I
and
had that,
sent it.
yeah.
We really had to hunt for that. And you have such a great story. And has she inspired you by being here?
Yeah.
I mean, I know everyone has, but I think she had the fearless one, had the biggest challenge getting up here.
Yes, for sure.
And so, I mean, and that's so important. You will inspire other people. So what's next?
I want to get them paid off. So 5 years, I'll own everything free and clear.
And she knows that. She
Yeah.
knows.
That I do know
for
on a
free.
spreadsheet.
She knows that.
Yeah, 5 years, and then from there,
And then
I don't
how
know.
much, so, okay, let's just say your assets right now, 5 years, they're paid off. What will that net be to you?
So I kind of tried to calculate. It was like, you're talking about monthly.
You can give it either way. We'll round and do math in our heads if we have to.
Okay, like 16 grand a month, probably.
Who would like to net 16 grand a month? And what was the time frame on that? Like, how long did it?
Well, I was 23 when I bought my first one. I'm 46 now. So,
You started
23
over
years.
2 times, so you.
oh yeah, and I lost everything twice.
Most millionaires do, by the way.
Oh.
I did it.
They lose their wealth at least once,
Yep.
sometimes twice.
Yep. No, in 08, because I sold real estate. That's when I got it. That's when I got into the management. But yeah, 08 took me right out. And
I think I bought those houses from
You,
you.
I know.
That's $200,000 a year, approximately. That sounds good to anyone?
Yeah.
And it did not happen overnight. It happened with consistency over time. And
Still cleaning toilets.
she has inspired her whole family. Yeah, and thank you. You want to repeat that?
And
Heather?
not quitting after you lost everything
No.
twice.
It made like my heels dig in harder.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hold your fire.
thank you for pointing that out. That's grit.
And I have to say, I think also is that, that's an amazing, like 16,000 a month, that's amazing. But even like for us, with me in transition between 2 jobs and trying to find another job and being like, oh my gosh, we just bought this place and we're trying to, get this all going running. Again, knock on wood, it's been great that out of the gate, we were able to, just book. And we didn't start booking. We went live on July 22nd and we booked July 24th, like all the way through to Labor Day. And we've got some bookings in here. But that cash flow right there was, we had put everything into everywhere. And it was a gift, but out of our hard work. But it was, everything happens for a reason, but I was just like,
Thank you for pointing that out.
that would have been very different. But so sometimes even a couple extra $1,000, a month could.
Well, when you said I was thinking to myself, that's like 6 of my units. So like 6 of mine equal 1 of yours because you're doing weekly instead of I'm doing monthly
Right.
and much smaller, but
Sure.
yeah.
Different strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for pointing that out. It's so important. And the most important thing is to get started. Become an InvestHER. So, would you guys love to have each one of these women back in 2025 for a deep dive to learn more about Would you guys love that? You guys love that? Okay. Because we just have the tip of the iceberg here. There's a lot of details and a lot of terms that you guys threw around that we could really deep dive into and really look at the numbers on everything. I think that would be really helpful for people. So Q&A, I know we're a little bit over. Hang with me. Q&A, did that go by like that for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do Q&A for just a couple of minutes, and then we'll talk about next month's get together, and then it's a wrap. So who has the first question?
I was going to ask something, but you guys kind of answered it with telling each of your stories. So,
Really loud.
oh yeah, so I can talk louder. So I have read The Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? And having your money work for you and covering your expenses. So like my plan is to obviously keep my job, right? To always do that and be investing in more investments. But as far as like buying with debt, right? So I think you guys kind of answered that and using equity from like a home you own now, or coming up with the first cash flow and then just continuing on there. Yeah, I just wanted to
Also,
add.
debt is not a dirty word.
No.
It depends on what your debt is.
Yeah.
And Robert Kiyosaki is great. I would recommend reading Cash Flow Quadrant.
Yeah,
That's a
what I'm
great book
reading
to
now.
really to get the 4, pieces of the pie. But debt is not a dirty word. You just don't get indebted buying a boat
Right.
or, 30 pairs of shoes over
Some
your
of it
100
is
pair of
need
shoes.
money, right?
A depreciating asset.
Yeah.
To that point, as far as, gosh, I just lost my question, I'm sorry, it's been a long day.
It's so
Towards
that
the
only
debt.
happens to you.
Yeah, right, just me. Yeah, I don't know what'll come back.
It'll come back and just
Oh, yeah, how he recommends becoming a business owner before an investor.
Mhm.
So I'm a little hung up on that part because I'm like, ooh, I really want to start investing, but I don't have a business. So I guess, what would you say about that if you had to give a short answer?
Cut that corner out. and
I was
move
gonna
on.
say, it's
Okay,
investing.
okay, my thought, okay, I kind of don't
Yeah.
want to like pull
Because
yourself back.
Your business might be that you manage those properties.
Right, that was my
So
thought,
that's
like,
you
wouldn't
know.
that become my business?
Yeah, I would think, yeah, this is a business.
That was kind of my thought
Yeah,
process too.
Yeah.
And that was a question my son had for me, because we're reading these books together, so.
Oh, good.
I was
How old
like-
is he?
18.
Good.
Wow. He's got determination and grit. So.
And he's more than welcome to come here and learn. If he's
really?
open to it,
Oh.
he's open to it. Oh my God, I would love
Oh, I
the
can't
mothers
wait
to
to share with
be
him.
inspiring their sons.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
he will
Yes,
do
bring
that.
your kids.
Okay, absolutely, and he loves talking to people, so.
And I think you have to
Yeah.
get creative, like we wanted this bad enough that we sold our house. The timing, but we had, one in college at a private school, one that was getting ready, to go away to school, and we had to get super creative.
Right.
And we had to pay cash for that farmhouse because no bank was giving us a loan on that.
Oh yeah, did that pass inspection?
No.
So you
Not
had
at
to do
all.
the modeling, the purchase, your kids,
Yes.
all in cash.
Yes. Well, we have some loans for the private school, but we did the daughter at Michigan State 100%. Like we've been paying cash for the student loan.
So you really jumped in 100%.
We did. That fear piece, like I said, it keeps you up at night sometimes. There's no doubt about it. Like, oh my God, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But yeah. But you get creative. If you want it bad enough,
Yeah.
you can get creative. If I'm learning anything about sitting here, is that I'm learning stuff just sitting here from everybody, and what they're talking about and lots of questions, and that I think some of my fears could be answered here, like, getting more creative, or the real estate piece of it, or Margo nudging me saying, get your license, get your license. Get your license.
Yeah, that's
Maybe I
another thought I
should,
have.
yeah.
I would say that the first thing is
Get your license.
get your own house in order. Organize yourself, organize your own finances. I mean, if I showed you my phone, I have in my notes every single expense down to the dog getting their teeth cleaned, her nails getting done, very expensive. Every single expense. I just did it for my sister. I sent it to her. I wrote down everything. I was like, just fill it out. You'd be surprised how much money you spend.
Oh, yeah.
And if you start cutting things out, you will start saving money. It's like if you $5,000.
Yes.
If you cut, $200 out a month, and you can, I mean, you'll build that money up quickly. It's like you just have to decide what you're willing to give up to get something.
And it's not always
like-
fun what you see on paper,
Yeah.
and you have to be really diligent about it. And sometimes, again, I'm the finance girl in our house, and my husband, he wouldn't know how to get on the check. This is wrong, but he wouldn't know how to kill me if you understand this. Yeah, I know. I mean, you know what I mean? They just, you have to, you have to figure it out. But yeah, I think that you do have to, when you see it on paper, sometimes you're like, wow.
So sacrifice.
Yeah.
And that Mia brought up another millionaire mindset. I will do whatever it takes as long as it is legal, moral, and ethical.
Yeah.
That's right from millionaire mindset.
Can I respond to that too? I think that you're touching on that sacrifice. So for me, actually, it was very humbling, but I hate debt. I don't like debt. I don't want to carry debt. I don't want to live above my means, but I'm also a high risk taker. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to go all in. And I actually moved in with my mother to save money.
God, this is so good.
And all of my friends are, this is like the time when you're should be arriving in your career and, enjoying it in your mid-30s. And I'm like, I didn't. I wasn't able to go out with my friends like I wanted to. I mean, I saved and saved and saved. And the first thing I did is I just took the money I was making and I paid off all my debt. And then after that, including my student loans, I paid it all off. And I did that in 2 years. And then I saved money for my down payment on my property, because I looked at what can I afford per month, and I won't finance. If I do finance, I won't finance more than 15 years, prefer 10, because you get better interest rates. So I'm looking at, I gave up everything from cable to looking at any subscriptions that I had that I really wasn't using, and just those repeatable, reoccurring expenses, and you add them up, it's like $200, and then you project it out for the year. How much are you saving? Just these little amounts that you're saving. But I mean, I sacrificed. It was humbling, and it was a house. This was originally my grandparents' house. The kids inherited it. My mother bought them out. It's hers. But I mean, at one point we had 5 generations in that house. So it wasn't, you bit your tongue until it bleeds. You just learn to get along with it. And so, but I sacrificed so I could save. So I didn't have to carry a debt that was too much. And then my goal was, I'm going to pay this property off ahead of time. And I did. So it was that was my, how to manage the debt piece. But I looked at the numbers. I did not want to put myself in a situation where I had to live a life in the meantime to just work to pay for that. I don't mind working to do more, but I don't want to work to sustain. I want to work to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's so good. All right, one last question. Tanya, I know you had a burning question.
I did, but it's late, so I'm gonna just ask Lisa tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so can we have a huge round of applause? Thank you all so much. Lisa, thank you for affording us this space to be in, letting us use it. We will be growing out of it shortly, so I am very sorry.
That wall goes back.
Oh, yeah. So we got some work to do.
Yeah.
Standing room only in the
This is
back.
48 people capable, then you can add another 20.
Cocktails in the back. All right, and I want everyone to mark your calendar, October 29th, 6 p.m., same time, same place here. We are going to be doing goal setting for 2025. You write your goals. They're so much more likely to happen, and this group is going to hold you accountable. Because guess what we're going to be doing in October of 2025? We're going to be talking about who has achieved their goals. All right, so we have to get together and do that. I want to make sure that you I can read your email address on there, because you will get the QR code, you will get the link. I don't think it's in here, no. You will get the link to the Revenue Net Worth Tracker that you can download for free. It's just a free gift from us to you. And it's very easy instructions. And just like I said last month, you take a deep breath and you read the instructions bit by bit. You fill out your first couple of cells, and then the rest will come to you. It's very clear, but you've got to take a deep breath and read the few directions that there are. All right, Steve, did I get everything? Everything? All right, so the other thing that's going to be coming in the follow-up email is the Earnest Angel investment opportunity. Who's excited about that? I am. This is the last round before we go live. I'm sorry, we go live. We get the sale. Like, it's going to go. No, it's not public.
It just
Someone else
says
is
an
purchasing
event.
it.
There's going to be an
There's
event.
going to be an event. Yes.
It could be they go public. It could be they're purchased by a
Purchased by
larger
another larger
organization.
entity. Yeah. So, and that's supposed to be in the next year. Yeah. This is the last opportunity. This is it. So, more women at that table. And if you are here with your realtor, talk to her. And if you are not, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, you come talk to me too. Okay. And I think that's it. It's a wrap. Do we have a picture? Did you get a good pictures of
I got lots of pictures.
our panel and everything? All right. Thank you so much. Have a great night. See you here next month. Yes.